Hello and welcome to this section. Here we're going to be learning about thirds. Now, as you've been going along, you will have found that there are some numbers that don't share out very easily. These are called odd numbers. They're called odd numbers because they don't split into half. Half is even, both sides are equal. An odd number won't split in half. Our odd numbers, well, they're every other number. So if we start with 1, 1 is an odd number. 2, the next number is even, because 2 can be split into 2 parts. Half of 2 is 1. So the next number is 3, so that's odd. Next number 4 is even, 4 can be split in half. 5 is odd, and that pattern carries on all throughout numbers, all the way to the biggest number you can think of. Odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. Odd numbers can be tricky when finding fractions. So we're going to look at a fraction today, a third, that has an odd number as its denominator. Wonder if that's going to change the way we work. Let's have a look. Let's go to the workbook and see what a third is. So here's a third written down in our fraction style. So we've got the top number, our dividing line in the middle, and our bottom number. Now our bottom number is what? That's right, it's 3. So 3 is an odd number, 3 groups. Some numbers are harder to split into 3 groups than others. Let's have a look and see what I mean. Now, when we are splitting up a whole object, it can be quite tricky. My tip for you in the last section was a quarter is half of a half. So you fold the circle or cut the circle in half, and then you fold it or cut it in half again, and that gives you equal quarters. You can't do that with thirds. It's an odd number, it doesn't work as easily. So you've just got to try and keep practicing and find out what shapes stay equal. Kind of looks like an upside down Y when you're cutting into a pizza. Let's have a look at a chocolate bar. So I can't cut it in half because that wouldn't leave me enough places to cut. So I've got to make sure I measure using a ruler if I can, and make sure that all my pieces are equal. Remember, our denominator of our fraction is the number 3. That means we need 3 groups or 3 pieces. It's really important that you make sure you have 3 equal pieces. Not 4, not 2, but 3. In these early stages of drawing, it can be quite hard to find 3 equal pieces. Just make sure you are as close as you possibly can be. Don't get upset if you can't make them perfect. Nobody's perfect. But as long as you can see that those pieces look about the same, that they are the same size, and that it's not unfair for anyone, then you're going to be okay. Now, how about finding a third of an amount? Well, here, back in the workbook, it's exactly the same as we do. We look at the denominator. Our denominator is 3, that means we need 3 groups. So we need to start sharing out our numbers between 3. So I'm going to do 1/3 of 6. Now I know this works because I've practiced before. So I've got 6 dots. I need to share them out into 3 bubbles. That's 1 in there, 1 in there, 1 in there. Back to the beginning, 1 in there, 1 in there, 1 in there. Then we look at our top number, remember, of our fraction, our numerator. We need to check the results of 1 bubble. I'm going to have a quick look. All my bubbles are the same, so it doesn't matter what bubble I pick. I'll pick that one and 2. So 1/3 of 6 equals 2. Now, not all numbers will share equally in 3 groups. Let's take a number that I know doesn't share and see what we can do with it. Here in the workbook, so I'm going to find a third of 10. So I need 3 bubbles and my 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I need to share them out equally. So I'm going to put my dots in my bubbles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if I put this 10th dot in that first bubble, I'm going to have a problem. At the moment, all my bubbles are equal. They've all got 3 in. If I were to put my dot in this bubble, then this bubble would add 4, and I haven't got any more dots to share. I can't add dots, I can't put dots in bubbles if those dots aren't there. Make sure you remember that. So I've got 2 bubbles with 3 and 1 with 4. What do I do? Well, the answer is nothing. You can't do it. You can't share out 10 by 3. A third of 10 you don't know, certainly not at this stage in our maths. So for us, if someone asks us what a third of 10 is, the answer is there is nothing. We can't do it, it doesn't share equally. Remember, if it's not equal, you can't do it. Don't get scared about finding things that you can't do. That's maths, especially with fractions. You're going to come up across this a lot. What's really clever, what's really important, is being able to understand what does share equally and what doesn't. Can you tell me why 10 won't share into 3 groups? Why can't you find a third of 10? Well, because we've just proved, looking at our book, that 1 bubble would have 4 in and 2 would have 3 in. That's not fair. I can't have 4 sweets if you 2 only get 3 sweets each. It's not fair, so 10 can't be divided by 3. The fraction 1/3 of 10 cannot be calculated. Thirds are great for proving that fact. We can find out what things can be split into 3 groups and what things can't. Try and have a note of what numbers can be split into thirds. Can you see a pattern at all in them? Are you beginning to understand what can be shared equally and what can't? In maths, it's really important to be able to describe why something doesn't work, as well as describing and showing how it does. That's what makes the difference between an okay mathematician and a really great one. Explaining why not, as well as explaining why. So in this section, lots of choices to find out what a third is, and importantly, what a third can't be. Hope you enjoy this section, work hard, and I will see you in the next section.